She tried to leave, quietly, so quietly that even the sound of her footsteps seemed afraid of being heard. The diner was noisy, filled with clattering plates, laughing groups, and the warm aroma of fresh bread, but she slipped toward the door like a shadow trying to disappear. She assumed no one noticed. She assumed she would blend into the noise, into the lights, into the world that had stopped paying attention to her long ago. But she didn't see what he saw. He saw the little girl. A tiny face, thin, pale, hopeful, standing behind her mother. Eyes unmoving, eyes locked on his plate, not blinking. Just staring at the warm food she could not afford. A quiet ache moved through his chest. And this moment right here is where the heart of the story begins. Before we go deeper, dear listeners, if stories like this touch your heart, please take a moment to like, share, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Whispers of Kindness. Your support helps us continue spreading humanity, compassion, and soul-touching stories. Thank you. Now, let's continue. He had only noticed the girl because he had looked up by accident. He had been lost in thought, pushing food around his plate, trying to untangle the mess of his own life. He had been avoiding work calls, trying to heal from a recent heartbreak, and struggling with the feeling that his life had lost direction. But then that small pair of eyes, so innocent and silently hungry, pulled him out of his own world. The mother tugged the girl's hand, gently whispering, "Come on, sweetheart, let's go." He watched as the child obeyed without complaint. No begging, no tantrum, just quiet acceptance, like she had learned early that life rarely gave her anything. Something inside him refused to let them walk away. He pushed his chair back and stood. His heart raced. He didn't want to embarrass them. He didn't want to be rude. But he also knew that some moments are so fragile and so important that hesitation becomes its own kind of cruelty. "Excuse me," he said softly. The mother froze. She turned slowly, eyes worried, as if expecting someone to tell her she had done something wrong. The girl half hid behind her, still stealing glances at the warm plate left behind him. "Yes?" the mother asked, voice calm but tired, so tired it felt like she carried the weight of 100 invisible burdens. I noticed your daughter," he began, then stopped, searching for the right words. "I mean, would you please allow me to buy you both dinner?" Her shoulders stiffened. "No, thank you. We're fine," she replied quickly, gripping her daughter's hand tighter. But he could see the truth. The way her clothes were worn, the trembling in her voice, the way the girl kept licking her lips each time the scent of food drifted her way. "Please," he said again. "It would be my honor." The mother inhaled slowly, close to tears but fighting them with pride. "We can't accept charity," she whispered. "It's not charity," he said gently. "It's kindness. And sometimes we all need a little of that." The girl tugged her mother's sleeve and whispered, barely audible, "Mama, can we stay? Just for a little, please?" The mother's defenses broke. She nodded. He led them back to his table and signaled the waiter. Their dinner arrived in steaming plates, rice, chicken, warm bread, and fresh soup. The little girl's eyes widened like she had never seen so much food in one place. She tried to eat slowly, politely, but hunger rushed ahead of her. He and the mother said nothing at first, only silence, filled with gratitude from one side and humility from the other. After a few minutes, the mother finally spoke. "Thank you," she whispered. "My name is Sarah. This is my daughter, Ayla." He smiled. "I'm Daniel." Sarah looked down at her hands. "It's been a difficult few months. I lost my job, then our apartment. We're staying at a shelter until I can get back on my feet." He nodded, giving her the respect of quiet listening rather than pity. "I've been going place to place looking for work," she continued. "But I don't have anyone to watch her, so it's harder." Every sentence held a wound. Every wound held a story. Every story held a strength she didn't even recognize. "And today," she added, "today I only had enough money for her to eat. But she insisted we share." Daniel's throat tightened. He watched as Ayla offered her mother the last piece of bread from her plate, saying, "Mama, you eat it. I'm full." But she wasn't. Her little stomach still growled loud enough to hear. Sarah pushed the bread back gently. "No, sweetheart. You have it." He pretended he didn't notice out of respect for their dignity. But in that moment he made a quiet promise to himself. They would not walk out of this diner hungry. They would not walk out with only temporary relief. Not tonight. After the meal, he asked softly, "Sarah, what kind of work are you looking for?" "Anything," she said. "Cleaning, packing, babysitting. I'll do whatever I can." He nodded thoughtfully. "My aunt runs a small community center," he said. "They're hiring someone dependable to help with organizing classes, cleaning, and handling small tasks. It doesn't pay much, but it's steady. And they allow kids in the daycare while their parents work." Her breath caught. Are you serious?" He smiled. "Only if you want it." Tears filled her eyes before she could stop them. She covered her mouth with her hand, overwhelmed, trembling. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes, please." And just like that, the world shifted, quietly, gently, but enough to change the path of two lives. Daniel walked them to the shelter, carrying Ayla's small backpack while she skipped beside him, her tiny hand occasionally brushing his. Sarah walked a step behind, silently wiping tears each time she thought no one was looking. At the shelter door, Ayla hugged him suddenly, tight, warm, grateful. "Thank you," she said softly. "You made my mama smile again." He froze. No award, no achievement, no victory in his life had ever felt as meaningful as those 7 little words. Over the next days, Sarah started the new job. She arrived early, worked hard, and slowly regained confidence. Ayla spent her time learning, drawing, and making friends, finally getting to be a child again. Daniel visited occasionally, not to save them, not to rescue them, but simply to check in like a friend, someone who cared, someone who stayed, and every time he saw that little girl laugh, he felt a quiet healing inside his own heart. Weeks passed. Then one evening, Sarah approached him outside the center. "I don't know how to repay you," she said. "Everything you did, you changed our life." He shook his head. "You did the hard part. You never stopped fighting." "But I was losing hope," she whispered. "Sometimes all a person needs is someone who sees them." A moment of warm silence settled between them. "Thank you," she said again. "For seeing us," Daniel smiled softly. "For what it's worth. You helped me too, because somewhere in helping them, he had rediscovered something he had lost long before: purpose, humanity, connection, the belief that one small act of kindness can echo farther than anyone realizes. He realized that life wasn't about fixing everything. It was about touching something, someone, even briefly, even quietly. And that was enough. To every soul listening right now, never underestimate what your smallest kindness can mean to someone else. A smile, a meal, a gentle word, a moment of compassion. These are not small things. These are lifelines. And before we end, if this story touched your heart even a little, please like, share, comment your feelings, and subscribe to Whispers of Kindness. Your support helps bring more real, emotional, human stories into the world. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for keeping hope alive. Sometimes the kindest stories begin when someone simply refuses to look away.